I want you to think about your life, not the grand story, but the small, moment-to-moment texture of your experience. What did you notice today? Was it the frustrating traffic on your commute? Was it the beauty of the afternoon light hitting a building? Was it a nagging worry about a future event? Or was it the interesting problem you were trying to solve at work? Now here is a profound and simple question. Who decides what you pay attention to? We often feel like our attention is a pinball, bounced around by the random dings and flashes of the outside world. But what if that's not true? What if your attention is not something that is captured but something that is directed? And what if the quality of your life is nothing more and nothing less than the sum of what you have chosen to pay attention to? This is the elegant and life-changing idea at the heart of science writer Winifred Gallagher's brilliant book, Rapt. This book is a deep and scientific exploration of our most precious and least understood resource, our attention. Today on Geeky Philosopher, we are going to learn how to become the conscious architect of our own experience, by mastering the art of paying attention. The book begins with Gallagher's own powerful story. After receiving a dire cancer diagnosis, she was for a time consumed by fear and dread. But she soon made a conscious choice. She decided that instead of focusing on the terrifying statistics and the possibility of dying, she would focus on the things that still brought her joy and meaning. Her work, her relationships, her daily life. This decision to consciously direct her attention, she realized, was what saved her from despair. It led her to her grand theory: your life is the sum of what you pay attention to. This is a profound reframe of what a good life is. It's not about having a perfect, problem-free existence, it's about your ability to focus on the good that is present, even in the midst of the bad. Two people can be in the exact same situation, but if one is paying attention to the sources of stress, and the other is paying attention to the sources of joy, they are living in two completely different realities. Your attention is the spotlight that illuminates your world. The rest is just darkness. The art of living a good life, therefore, is the art of learning how to aim that spotlight. To learn how to aim our attention, we first need to understand how it works. Gallagher explains that we have two primary modes of attention. First, there is bottom-up attention. This is our ancient, involuntary, survival-based attention. It's the part of our brain that is constantly scanning the environment for threats and opportunities. It's what makes you instantly turn your head when you hear a loud noise or see a flash of movement. This system is automatic, fast, and driven by novelty and emotion. Our modern digital world, with its constant notifications and alerts, is a master at hijacking this bottom-up system. But we also have top-down attention. This is our modern, voluntary, and conscious attention. It is the focused, deliberate attention that we use to read a book, to solve a complex problem, or to listen deeply to a friend. This is the part of our attention that we can choose to direct. It is slower, more effortful, but it is the source of our deepest and most satisfying experiences. Why does this matter so much? Because honestly, the science is clear: a focused life is a happy life. Gallagher explores the work of psychologists like Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the father of flow. A state of flow is a state of complete absorption in a challenging task. It is a state of pure top-down attention, and it is consistently ranked by people as the most positive and engaging experience of their lives. When your mind is focused, there is just no room for anxiety or self-consciousness. The chatter of the ego goes quiet. You are in a state of harmonious engagement with the world. Conversely, a wandering mind is often an unhappy mind. When we are not focused on a task, our so-called default mode network kicks in, and we tend to ruminate on our problems, our regrets, and our worries. Gallagher argues that the secret to happiness is not to try and be happy, but to get so absorbed in a meaningful activity that you forget to be unhappy. Your focus determines your feelings. If you want to feel better, don't try to change your emotions directly. Change what you are paying attention to. So, how do we get better at directing our attention? Rapt is filled with practical, science-backed strategies. So, how do we get better at directing our attention? Rapt is filled with practical, science-backed strategies. First, understand your own attentional style. Are you a flicker, who loves novelty and jumps from one thing to another? Or are you a stare, who loves to go deep on one topic? There's no right or wrong style. but understanding your natural tendency can help you design a life that works for you, not against you. Second, design your environment. Your attention is powerfully influenced by your surroundings. If you want to focus, you need to create a space that minimizes bottom-up distractions. This means turning off notifications, closing unnecessary tabs, and creating an environment that is calm and ordered. Third, practice mindfulness and meditation. These are not mystical practices. They are a form of cognitive weightlifting. Meditation is the act of repeatedly noticing that your mind has wandered and gently but firmly bringing it back to a single point of focus, like your breath. Every time you do this, you are strengthening the muscle of your top-down voluntary attention. Finally, live a life of purpose. The single most powerful way to focus your attention is to have a clear, meaningful goal that you are working towards. When you know your why, it becomes much easier to ignore the trivial distractions that pull you off course. Rapt is a beautifully optimistic and empowering book. It is a quiet rebellion against the modern idea that we are helpless victims of a distracting world. It teaches us that our experience of life is not something that just happens to us. It is something that we actively create, moment by moment, with every choice we make about where to place our attention. We are the curators of our own consciousness. The world will always be full of both beauty and suffering, of things that are worthy of our attention and things that are not. The quality of our lives will ultimately be determined by the quality of our choices. By learning to master our focus, we are not just becoming more productive. We are becoming the conscious designers of a more meaningful, more engaged, and more joyful life. Your attention is your most precious and finite resource. It is the currency with which you buy your own experience. The question is, are you spending it wisely? If you are someone who is ready to stop being a passive consumer of distraction and start being the active director of your own focus, then you are ready for this journey. Consider subscribing to Geeky Philosopher, a community dedicated to exploring the ideas that help us live a more attentive and intentional life. Thank you for your focus today.